All right. So I wanted to come on here and just do a really quick talk about some of the theories that I had. And this one is, who the hell is Tom? Tom, if you and what I'm talking about is on the show From on Epics, there's a cast of characters who's in the town and we don't know what's going on with the town. Now, the season finale of season one just ended, and one of the characters who we introduced is the bartender, and this is him. This is Tom. And so what I'm saying is, who the hell is Tom? And so I wanted to take some time to sort of dive into what we know about Tom and where what he could be up to in this mysterious cat and mouse game. To start that, we have to go let's go to the first place, which is IMDb, and let's check Tom out, right? Because for one, he's uh he's definitely in the game. He's not doing a bad job. Uh, so this is the cast, you guys. This is the show. This is it's not Dumbledore, but it's the show from here, and it is on Epics. And look at that, 7.8 rating, up 53%. I mean, it should be. It is all this. It's drama, horror, mystery. It stars Harold Perrineau. And a couple other people that you might have seen in different places. Season 10 just came out called All the Places, and it was intense mystery. And we got to see one of our more mysterious characters, which is Tom. And Tom is here, and his name is Reed Price. And so I didn't even know what his name was on the show. I mean, he just is the bartender. And so the show also stars Harold Perrineau, Boyd, which you guys might have seen from Best Man. He was in the first season of the of sci-fi zombie show, Zombie Nation. Right, I love that show. Catalina Moreno that plays Tabitha. Then there's David Pay that plays Jade. Eon Bailey, Jim Matthews, Elizabeth Saunders, Donda, Scott McCoy, Victor, Ricky He, Kenny, and Chloe Van Landshoot as Christy. Pega Ghaffori as Fatima, Cortian Moore as Ellis, Hannah Creamery, excuse me if I make a mistake on the name, Julie and Ethan, Simon Webster as Ethan. And so these guys are doing their best to make an outstanding cast and really just bring the drama intensity that the show is known for, and they're doing a good job. I mean, if you guys have watched one episode, and I'm guessing you are because you want to theorize, uh, and I'm guessing you are, is so it has turned into a great episode. So this is the season finale. If you have not watched the other episodes, I definitely recommend you go back and check them out before you come to this, and then we can talk about who is Tom. But at this point in time, Tom point in Tom, no pun intended. Um, the wife Tabitha goes to the bar to see if they have any tools. Now, Tom just so happens to have a shed full of tools, and not just like sticks and stones. I mean, he's got ratchets and hatchets and shackles. I mean, he's pretty much has everything to make his own little, Texas Chainsaw Massacre back there. I mean, Tom is looking like a top tier suspect in the Village of Killers right this moment. I mean, he's keeping this as at his ready, is at his helm. I mean, he can easily grab them and go do a whole bunch of stuff with zero consequences. So, I mean, it could get pretty ugly here for this guy. And so that's what I'm kind of getting at. Who is he? I mean, the way the story plays out is that you're driving on a road, and then you come to a downed tree. And then from there, from that downed tree, you sort of can't get out of this loop. And we've all these people, we're assuming that all these people have been there in that same manner. But as the series goes on, we have seen that there's some supernatural elements to the show, and there's a ton of other, let's say, people from different times that have passed through this place. We don't know if they're still there, but they've passed through. Tabitha had a vision of going up a staircase in a tower, and right before she got to the top, she saw, all these dates: 1506. So it pretty much every 20, 40, 100 years. So 1506, 1624, 17, 18, all the way up to, we're guessing, present. And Boyd, being the main character, They have been there 3 years. So as we know, this has been going on from 1506 to pretty much 20, basically when stuff got crazy for us, 2020, right? um, and in fact, we might actually be in this. No, I'm just joking. But we don't know who's been there how long, because we do see that there's tons of other people in the show, like that necessarily don't come out the house. I mean, that this guy doesn't leave the bar. And this scene that I'm getting to, she was kind of saying to him, like, why don't you go help with the tower with what Jim's doing? And she was kind of like, not she, but he was kind of like, I've seen tons of people who also thought they were smart come and try to do it, and they all just end up back at the bar. And I'm like, kind of catch. I mean, to me, that's a telltale sign. Like, what he's saying is like a lot of the problems that are happening, honestly, is his fault. I mean, if you go back to this episode one, you see the guy drunk and not going home, and then the whole family gets killed. I mean, and then is that direct not his fault by serving that man too much alcohol? I mean, it's the same thing in real life. If you go to a bar and you go drive and you get killed in an accident, can the family sue the bar and the people who kept feeding them alcohol? Apparently. And so I see a lot. I see this guy take on a lot more guilt in his role here, in his anonymous role. He's poisoning everybody to a certain extent. He's not helping with anything. He's just kind of there. And I mean, just from knowing the rules of these shows and these programs that we watch, that there has to be people on the inside for them to work. I mean, even the same thing with magic, like there's an assistant or there's people in the crowd that are participants of this that help pull the act off. And so we have to know that there are some people in this town that are not who they say they are. I mean, it just has to work like that. I mean, my suspect was, of course, my number one suspect is Jim. Jim, I'm on to you. And now that I know Tom's name, I'm totally uh, on the fence about that this guy Tom is a bad guy. And I don't mean a bad guy meaning like killing people. I just mean intentionally not helping them get out of their circumstance. I mean, not telling somebody the truth is the same thing as lying to them, and that's exactly what I feel like this guy is doing, and he makes him a villain. Sarah was my third person. Sarah is definitely not she, I think she has a real mental disorder, and I think that's allowing her to connect with this whole thing a different way. And I think she's seeing things that only she can see it, like the writing on her hand and them saying kill people. But I do feel like they are slightly influencing her certain ways to do things, but it doesn't seem like it's actually all connected yet. But because there's just so many different sides of her. But on the same time, this guy, the theory is that Tom's voice was the voice on the radio. And I wanted to just go to the source. And so I want y'all to understand what these sources are. So when I say source of something, I mean pretty much people going on Reddit. You get what I'm saying? And so that's pretty much what was going on. And so I've it's been on Reddit for a while, and I just realized, how Reddit works with like movies and discussions and stuff like that, because I pretty much was looking for discussions for a long time and wasn't able to find any. And it didn't even cross my mind to think about Reddit. But I followed the From series here on Reddit, and the first post 3 hours ago from you budget you 8887, he said, I saw a theory that the bartender's voice is eerily similar to the voice Jim hears on the radio. Man, I'm not sure what to make of his character. He was the one that brought up the Schrodinger's box theory and just seems real cynical. Okay, so I mean, that to me, that was big. I mean, I was like, wow, because when I'm sitting there watching it, I am thinking like, man, his voice does that. I feel like we all knew who that voice was. And I didn't connect the dots that it would be, this guy, your guy Tom. Who the F is Tom? And so how does that connect if Tom is the one from the radio? I mean, all that proves is that he also has built a radio. I mean, it kind of only proves what he said. Like, other smart men have done that. It could have been that the reason why he didn't want to build a radio is because they already had a radio. Somebody already tried the radio thing, and I'm saying, and pretty much he had that radio. But I feel like that's super douchebag move to just not say like, yo, I have a radio. I have a radio and I've tried that already. It just like, but this town seems to be one of those where they just let you make your own mistakes because remember when Jim first came up, Boyd was pretty much just going to let them drive around in circles until they came to their own conclusion. So this they're pretty much on the island of their own conclusions. That's pretty much what this place is. Like you have to figure it all out for yourself. Boyd, you have to go into the forest. His Boyd's son has to figure it out by marrying the girl. Jade has to figure his stuff out. I mean, this is a definitely a place. I would definitely say with a pocket dimension type of place that it's the island of your own conclusions, and that is it. I mean, it doesn't necessarily say that he's a demon, but we have to understand that uh, you know these things could have different powers, meaning that um, they could take other people's bodies. I mean, if we physically know they walk around in the night, there must be a way for them to physically walk around in the day, or other versions of those type of monsters that aren't like that. I mean, the only example I can think of is like vampires and Blade. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that's this type of situation, even though I did think that they were vampires in the beginning, but now I'm leaning more towards like a Wendigo or some sort of creature from the ritual or from antlers. That's what I more so think those are based on some sort of Norse mythology or Celtic mythology or Wicker Man mythology type of deal going on here. But especially with the cave writings in the wall. But I do think that with each town having a tunnel, we also have to assume that he has a tunnel as well under his house. Maybe he found it. I mean, I would honestly say that Tabitha is probably not the only one digging under her house. And I feel like this guy with the tools and the reason why he's looking at everybody, he's like, yo, I already dug and I found that. Or I have a radio. Matter of fact, I'm the one talking to you. And there's two, three, I mean, tons and tons of stuff. And honestly, I don't know if he knows who Jim is because I have not seen Jim at the but then how would he know Tabitha and not know Jim? Okay, never mind. But um I don't know. It's kind of a dick move, excuse me. Like he knows they built in the radio. He knows they're trying to talk to somebody, so he chirps back like, "Hey, your wife shouldn't be too." But I mean, it's like he really wasn't trying to scare them, and he was just trying to tell them, like, "Yo, you're looking in the wrong direction." Kind of like I feel like that's totally him. All right, but listen, I won't ramble on about Tom and whoever the hell he is. But listen, please add that like, add that subscribe, and I want you to let me know what you guys think. And shout out to everybody who's been enjoying from. It really brought a lot of energy back to me as far as doing reviews and stuff. So, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, I'll see you later.